Hello there everyone, it's King Sloth back with a brand new video. As you can tell, right down there, we're on 719 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. On track to hit the 1,000 sub a lot sooner than New Year's Day, and you guys are absolutely amazing. This has been requested so much. It's the Battle of Yultong, which was 40,000 Koreans versus apparently 1,000 Filipinos. The odds alone are absolutely staggering, but make sure before I even start this video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. Leave a comment down below of what you want me to react to next. Let's get into the video.
Time and time again, history proves that warfare isn't entirely a numbers game. And one of the best examples of this rule in action took place during the Korean War, when a small Filipino force held their ground against a far larger Chinese division. While the numbers were almost certainly blown out of proportion for the purposes of propaganda, some of the more conservative estimates still speak of victory against all odds. In this video,
40,000 v 1,000.
900 brave Filipinos.
900 is even less.
Highly exalted Battle of Yultong or Yultong.
Okay. Okay, this seems alright. It seems well made. There you go.
Before we get stuck into the Battle of Yultong, just what were the Filipinos and Chinese doing in Korea anyway?
This is what I've always wondered. Actually, I haven't done a lot of research into this.
Wars of the Cold War era. At the end of the Second World War, Korea was essentially divided into two halves.
I know that.
The Soviet Union administered north half, and the United States administered south half.
So that might explain why North Korea is mental then.
Both Korean governments were certain that they, and not their north or south counterpart, were in charge of the country, however. And on the 25th of June 1950, the North Korean People's Army marched into South Korea. In response, the United Nations started deploying its forces, with 21 UN member countries ultimately answering the call. The Philippines was one of such countries, deploying the Philippine Expedition.
Okay, so pretty much South Korea got... North Korea marched on the south, and then United Nations sent, 21 countries worth of support to the south.
Force to Korea.
I don't know why, but okay.
TOK in August that same year. PEFTOK entered Korea at a strength of 1,486, but it grew to include some 7,500 during the conflict. One of the units under PEFTOK was the 10th Battalion Combat Team, or simply the 10th BCT, which we'll get to soon.
Yes.
Sharing a border with Korea and maintaining different ideologies to the Western Bloc, it's no wonder that China watched the Korean War with weary eyes.
Of course it is, and they've got the biggest militaries in the world.
The UN, Korea is China's neighbor. The Chinese people cannot help but be concerned with a solution to the Korean question. I
believe that's still pretty similar now. Obviously, China is still very well aware of North and South Korea. They're obviously still... China has spies everywhere, really. Guarantee they already know what's going to happen before it happens in Korea.
In North Korea in October, China mustered the Chinese People's Volunteer Army, or PVA.
I've heard about that.
The Yalu River in North Korea and startled the UN forces positioned there into a hasty retreat. This was the first of the PVA's 5 major offensives in the Korean War, with their last being the 5th phase offensive or spring offensive, during which they messed with the wrong group of fighting Filipinos. In the lead up to the Battle of Yultong,
You ran to the wrong people, brother! Got all of them there, just 1,000 Filipinos. That's hilarious.
10th BCT was attached to the US 3rd Infantry Division. North of the South Korean county of Yeoncheon and just east of Imchin River, the 3rd US Infantry Division deployed the attached...
The Imchin River, I swear there's a film literally just based on that one river, but I can't remember what it was called. Someone needs to put in the comments down below what it's called. There's such a famous film, like an old school war film. I just can't remember.
5th Infantry Regiment, the Filipino 10th BCT, and the Turkish Brigade to stop 3 advancing Chinese army corps.
Wow.
The Americans set up on a north to south front parallel to the Imjin River, while the Filipinos watched the 65th's northeast flank. The Turks held a broad west to east front just east of the 10th BCT. It began at 8 PM on the 22nd of April 1951. An artillery barrage lit up the night sky, landing
Shit.
on the Turkish brigade and blowing them to shreds. Some 4 hours later, artillery and mortar shells pummeled the entire 3rd Infantry Division front, paving the way for machine gun and small arms
Oh
fire.
my god.
Now, falling upon the 10th BCT was an entire PVN division. Either the 34th Division of the 12th Army, according to the UN, or the 44th Division of the 15th Army, according to the Chinese.
Okay.
Either way,
So they blew up the Turkish and the Americans. Nearly people left with the Filipinos.
the division was at least 10,000
Jesus
troops
Christ.
strong, with propaganda estimates reaching as high as 40,000. What ensued was a series of close-quarter engagements in which the Filipino 10th BCT managed to hold its ground. The Americans and Turks, however, couldn't handle the heat and retreated several hundred meters south, leaving the 10th BCT standing like a lone island in a relentless Red Sea.
Just surrounded by everything.
And severely outnumbered, the 10th BCT put its foot down and decided it would stop the Chinese advance then and there, or die trying.
That's what reminds me. The Filipinos remind me a lot of the Gurkhas from Nepal. They don't give a fuck. They would, if they get told to defend it, they're like, okay. Like, do you want any questions? No, not worried. We'll do it. Don't worry. They just literally are that. I'm not gonna say stubborn. They are that well trained and that confident in their skills of the person next to them and themselves. They just have, like, obviously they're worried, but they're that confident they can do it. They will sit there till it gets done.
By the way,
Insane.
They gave the PVN division a fight that China will never forget. Filipino drivers, medics, clerks, typists, cooks, and even the unit's chaplain took up arms and threw themselves into the battle, which raged in pockets throughout the 10th BCT's position. In the words of fighting Filipino Luminoso Cruz, the Chinese attacked us in waves all night. My buddy and I just kept firing and firing our rifles.
I like that.
Slowly but surely, however, the PVN attack eroded the 10th BCT's position, and most of the unit complied with an order to fall back to a secondary line. Most. But for the 10th BCT's tank company, this wasn't an option. Under the command of Filipino Captain Conrado Yap, the company drove toward a hill captured by the PVN, where the company aimed to rescue as many Filipino survivors and as many dead Filipino bodies as they could. To this end, the company succeeded, saving the lives of an incredibly powerful 10th BCT squad.
So they were told, go back, that you can't do it, go back. They went, no, we're going to save them. Rolled out with the tanks. I'm guessing killed a lot of the Chinese, the PVA. And rescued Filipinos, brought bodies back to families.
For his bravery, however, Captain Yap himself paid the ultimate price, receiving his Philippine Armed Forces Medal of Valor posthumously. The citation read, Captain Yap, in a desperate effort to rescue the lost unit, ordered for covering support from the other units under his command and personally led a furious counterattack to regain the hill position and rescue the trapped unit, despite an authority that he may withdraw, which he has already received. He then proceeded to assault an enemy emplacement about 300 yards away, despite the hail of enemy fires, until he fell dead from an enemy bullet.
He still saved lives.
Also received the United States Distinguished Service Cross, with the citation reading,
Good.
He fearlessly led a daring charge to reach the beleaguered platoon. Under heavy fire received from flanks, they relentlessly pressed the assault, regained the hill, evacuated the casualties, and rescued the isolated unit. Observing a stricken soldier on the slope of the hill, Captain Yap immediately started toward the man, but was mortally wounded by a burst of enemy fire.
Jesus.
Inspired by his heroic conduct, his men continued the fight with such determination and skill that the enemy attack was contained and numerous casualties were inflicted.
So even when they saw their captain go down, they still had that hope, the fucking drive, like, we've done it, we're doing it, we're pushing them back, we've saved lives, let's keep going.
By dawn,
it's amazing.
The 10th BCT had scarcely given any ground to the Chinese division, and in covering the 3rd Infantry Division's retreat, the Filipinos had utterly exhausted their enemy, whose offensive was growing weaker by the second. Tireless, the 10th BCT then launched a counterattack, pushing the Chinese back a few places on the board and putting an end to the Battle of Yultong. While the Filipino 10th BCT suffered 56 casualties in total, these
Is that it? Is that it? It's about 40,000 people. And you suffered, what, 86, was it? 86 casualties? That's insane. That's hard, in the scheme of things, that's not a lot. That's hardly any. Well,
and whoever else was able to pick up a gun managed to kill more than 500 Chinese troops throughout the battle. It's safe to say that the Filipinos proved themselves a force to be reckoned with over those 2 days in April 1951.
Two-day battle.
Maybe this was better expressed in the words of Filipino Major Maximo Young, who was
what a name,
there.
Maximo.
The Battle of Yultong was the greatest Filipino victory in the Korean War. It was one of many battles fought by the United Nations Command in an effort to repel the biggest offensive of the Korean War, the Communists' Great Spring Offensive. By 6 a.m. of the 23rd of April,
is that him? That's alive.
One of only 2 UNC units on the Western Front not overran or wiped out by the tremendous Chinese assault. PEF to me is the embodiment of Filipino patriotism.
Exactly.
But what do you guys think? Had you heard about the Battle of Yultong before this?
I had.
Did the 10th BCT really face off against as many as 40,000 Chinese troops, or was that just propaganda? Lastly, would you have agreed when American General Douglas MacArthur said, "Give me 10,000 Filipino soldiers and I will conquer the world"? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And just before you go, guys, if you want access to exclusive rewards, videos...
Okay. I completely agree with what he says there. 10,000 Filipinos. After just watching that, in reality, I think there's potentially more than 40,000. More. It's a volunteer army there. They are also as patriotic, if not more, than the Filipinos. They do anything for their country. You get told, we're going to go launch an attack. They're like, Roger, let's go. Filipinos, same thing. Turkish division, blew to smithereens. Americans, blew to smithereens. Filipinos, we're going to hold this for as long as we fucking can. Whether that be until support arrives or till we're dead. They carried on. And eventually they retreated, a couple hundred metres. Kept the line, kept fighting. Tank division came in, recaptured the position, saved, I don't know how many, countless lives, and then held them back. Held them back for 2 days. The amount of forces that the Chinese were throwing at them in this war, absolutely insane. But yeah, the Filipinos are absolutely crazy. I've been watching quite a lot about the Filipino military, and so far, it's just the patriotism of it all. They want to have that drive. They want to be in that situation where they can, I guess, get honour is the best way of putting it. They want to be in the situation where they can prove themselves. All the training's been worthwhile. But anyway, it has been King Sloth once again. 719 subs. Let's smash it to 1,000. Leave a comment down below what you want me to react to next. It's been King Sloth. See you all soon.